We are flying over Cape York with the longest-serving member of federal parliament, crossbencher Bob Katter. He's wanting to show 730 how Indigenous communities in his and neighbouring electorates have been missing out on what the rest of Australia takes for granted. How would you rate the success of government policy, both state and federal, in dealing with the complex issues that these remote communities face?
I would, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it at 0.5.
Our first stop is Aurukun on the Western Cape, described by Noel Pearson as ground zero for The Voice, a community with a history of appalling government policy.
You get sort of a street where you'll have groups of 3 or 4 people just fighting up and along the street in all directions.
Four Corners filmed here more than 30 years ago, when Aurukun was being racked by alcohol-fuelled violence. A beer canteen was being used to effectively fund new housing, with tragic results.
Kids run away, they're hungry, they're frightened because their father, brother, uncle, they are violent when they're drinking.
The woman who spoke out against alcohol in 1991 was former Mayor Alison Wooler.
You would count them on 10 fingers, I think.
Meeting Bob Katter today is Alison Wooler's daughter and grandson, the mayor and acting mayors of Aurukun. The issues they raise are a lack of an ambulance service, jobs and fresh, affordable, healthy food.
The red meat, yeah, you just look at the prices and then you wonder, how fresh is the meat?
The health system is failing people in this community. I believe everyone should have, the same access, the same chance to live a healthier life, a healthier lifestyle.
Voting in the Voice referendum had already started in Aurukun when we arrived. Bob Katter sees this as an irrelevance.
If you go out and listen to the people and ask them what they want, they're not going to tell you they want a voice, because I'm there listening to them.
Although the councillors here don't raise the issue of The Voice directly with Bob Katter, they're still supporters.
If you want to move a mountain, you start by chipping away the stones, And I think if we inch forward slowly, if we try something new, and we have to keep trying.
But there's also some scepticism about how exactly The Voice will work.
The people from the communities, the people from the grassroots level, they have to be heard. Otherwise, it's just going to be another, it'll be another broken promise and a waste of time.
If it's going to happen, it's got to be somebody, grassroots person, that's got to sit on that panel. Not from someone outside Aurukun. It's got to be a person who lives and breathes Aurukun, because that person will know all the issues.
We head further south to the smaller Cape community of Pormpuraaw. The local councillor we speak to doesn't want to comment on The Voice, but he also tells Bob Katter about the problems getting healthy food.
The transport cost is the main issue up here. It's just expensive to have stuff shipped up. But then by the time it gets up here from Brisbane, it's off. Diabetes and hypertension. So that's a major thing, in community here.
And that comes back to the price of food as being a key issue.
Yep, it is.
Bob Katter's proposed solution, which he raises with all community leaders, is to allow private land ownership to rebuild market gardens that were abolished over 30 years ago.
If they can get a block of land, they can put in market gardens themselves up there, but they can't.
Our last stop was the biggest community in the Gulf of Carpentaria. Health is a particularly sensitive subject here in Doomadgee. A recent Queensland government inquiry found that record keeping at the local hospital here was in part responsible for 3 preventable deaths through rheumatic heart disease, a disease that is largely absent from the white community.
It's just an ongoing problem we face here every day, mate. And we need that addressed and needed to be fixed ASAP, mate,
Like Aurukun and Pormpuraaw, there's also concern about the cost of food, and the Mayor hopes a voice to Parliament can help.
All my life living here, and as a council, our voice not heard enough here in this community. We're more or less the forgotten ones here. And our voice needs to be heard to move forward.
Bob Carter and his son and state MP Robbie agree with much of this sentiment, but they can't go a step further and accept the concept, developed by Indigenous elders in the Uluru Statement, of a voice to Parliament. Why are you so opposed to the voice in this referendum?
I'm not interested in the voice one way or the other. Initially, I'm on record on a number of occasions saying I'm for it, right? But so now here we are, you're talking about politics and the voice, right? I am desperate to get your camera to go on that life expectancy is 56. You're not interested in that. You're interested in the politics of some initiative out of Sydney.
You agree the needs of these communities aren't being met, their voices aren't being heard. Isn't that what the voice aims to address?
Yeah, in theory, and it's a good sell job by the government, but unfortunately I've seen how these guys operate in government for too long, and they've invented a lot of new creative ways to avoid making decisions and actually acting on hearing voices.
There are some good news stories.
Our mine crew's out there. Raymond's going to start next month.
This employment program in Aurukun says it's found jobs for more than 50 people. But many miss out on these opportunities if they don't have a blue card. A system designed to regulate who can work near children can also block people with a record of relatively minor offences from ever finding a job.
It's a one-size-fits-all approach that always comes out of the governing centres like Brisbane and Canberra, and it is not fit for purpose.
So it's a system that prevents a whole generation of people from working?
Whole generation of people, mate. I feel sorry for the ones that growing up now and in the future. They're going to find it harder when they try to support their family.
The voice to Parliament is just one of many issues communities on the Cape and in the Gulf have to grapple with. Whatever the outcome of the referendum on October 14, they don't want to see a return to business as usual.
You talk about treaty and closing the gap. You want to do it? Come do it. Let's walk together, walk hand in hand and do it together.
We don't want those problems. We don't like living like this. We don't enjoy, the issues that we face. The voice is a way forward.